finally found a project worthy of this amazing fabric from my stash and then didn't end up using it, but you'll have to stick around to find out why this fabric didn't work on this project. Hi creators, it's Claire from Springworth and it's new project time. So I have my sewing table set up and I've got a gap on one side, let me show you. And it just, I seem to lose things off the edge, unsurprisingly. So what I purchased was some of these clear acrylic organizers, kind of insert thingies, and I'm going to make a bit of a caddy to sit on that end space. So what I have now that kind of shimmies up a little bit, and I'm going to try to build something with this thick felt. I've got this kind of really thick felt. It needs a little bit of a wash at this point. But I'm thinking I can cut this and then wrap it in fabric. So I've got the typewriter. My only issue with this is it's obviously directional, so I'm going to have to make sure I keep it upright. And then to help me deal with that, I've got the kind of lining, and then I've just got some other bits and pieces so that it's got some visual interest, because it's going to be kind of three-dimensional. It's going to have pockets, lots of pockets. I'm going to make like one side that's got little things to slot pencils and rulers and those sorts of things down one side, so I can really organize kind of this whole side of my sewing station, have everything have a place. And I say that, I wonder how often I'm going to put everything back, but so that it's just organized and neat. And then when I have to tidy this space up, because we do have guests stay in this room, it's kind of easy for me to pick it up and move it without having to disrupt the whole arrangement. So let me get started with cutting. Let me get started actually first by going and washing the felt, and then I'll come back and we will cut it and start piecing it together. Got quite a clear idea in my mind, but I'm not sure how to describe that, so we'll just get on with me showing you. So this is the box that I was talking about, and it's 3 inches at the top. It's a little bit narrower at the bottom, but that's all right. So I'm going to make it 4 inches, because I want to have a little bit of space at the side to be able to slot like scissors and that sort of thing. Now I've thought long and hard about this and how I'm going to arrange it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bit of a box by cutting off the corners at the right sizes, and then trying to maintain a uniform height around. So just trying to calculate if this is the excess at the end to make sure that this side, when it comes up, it's the same height. I'm then going to take the fabric and I'm going to cover it. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to create a folded edge. So I'm going to go through when I sew it down, fold over the edge, once for the base layer, 2 for the pockets. And then I'm going to sew that along the edge. So I'm going to cut a piece that's perfectly the same, a little bit wider, and then I'm going to sew that down. Because what I want is the felt to be the structure. I don't want a black thing. I want something nice and colourful. So I'm going to, this fabric, remember, and then the typewriter, this is going to be the pockets. So I'll do a double fold on this, and that'll kind of sit. So if this sits across the whole of that plus, then the pocket's only going to sit, say, here with a double fold like that. I will be able to see the original fabric through it, but I will just live with that. It will be such a minor part of the overall project. So I'm going to cut out the shape, that big plus, to make the box. And when I've finished, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sew the 2 pieces of felt together. There'll be a little overhang that I'll trim as neat as possible, but I'm willing to accept that rather than a big bulk of lots of seams and edges and fabrics all coming together, because there's going to be a coloured layer on the inside for the base, a coloured layer on the outside for the base, and then there's probably going to be pockets on both the inside and the outside. So it's going to end up lots of layers of fabric, so hopefully my machine will go through them. And let me get started calculating this, and I will cut it out, and then I will start cutting out this lovely electric teal, I might call that. here then is my box base. These are about 3.5 inches, and then you may just be able to see in white chalk. That's where I'm going to bring them together and sew them, and then it'll make that box shape. So I've gone through and I've cut out the base layers, the front and back base layers, or top and bottom. And what I've come through and done is I've come through and I've ironed down each of the sides. So when I cut this, I put a little diagonal in, and now I have ironed those, and I'm now going to try to get the bottom or top layer, it doesn't matter which one, and then I'm going to pin to one side and then simultaneously take the second side and hopefully sew both sides down at the same time so that they're kind of aligned enough. Like, I'm not expecting this to be perfect. They'll sit either side, and then I can just sew that down with one round. Now, they are slightly smaller, as I said, than this, because obviously I'm going to take up that extra when I make the box. I didn't want them to be in the way of that. So I'm going to try my best to pin these equally, but they're going to be on the bottom and the top, so that's going to be interesting. So let's give that a go. I'm going to use clips. I'm going to use these clips instead of pins. Hopefully that should make it a little bit easier. And then onto the sewing machine. So I'll just start on one side, and I'll get one side down, and then I'll replace the clips as I work on the other side. Well, that is the theory. So I've got it all clipped out on both sides, and I'm probably going to need to run a very scant seam because there's not a huge fold underneath. So let me see if I can get it all down the first time. If so, I'm sure the sewing lock is on my side. I had to restop to fill the bobbin, so let's have a quick review. It's much neater on one side than the other. So this will become the outside probably. Am I concerned with that? A little bit. Like, that's quite a gap and it's not caught it, so not quite sure what the answer is there. And then this one here didn't actually catch on that bit, so I'm probably going to tack this down and then make a decision about if there's anywhere I would like to revisit. So wish me luck. I'll finish the rest of it, and then I'll probably come back to you when this bit's finished, and I'm going to start making the pockets, because that's the other piece. So if the stitches are not perfect, the pockets potentially are going to cover up that slight imperfection. So I'm going to just keep pushing through. Like, the edges are really quite good. So it's just slightly off in alignment, and when you can't see what's happening on one side, that's not unexpected. So I'm going to keep going. So I've just had a change of heart about using this fabric. So what I determined was I needed about 4 inches to give me a 3-inch pocket. So I wanted the pocket to come, you know, part way up. So it's about 4 inches, and then with double rolled hems 3 inches. All I'm really going to see of this, even if I cut, you know, 4 inches from the bottom of here, 3 inches from the bottom of here, even if I took ½ an inch at the bottom of the typewriter, 1, 2, 3, you're not really gonna see the typewriter. So I think this print is too big for the project. As sad as that is, I will put it away and I will use different. So I've got these two that I'd already picked out. They will work because they're small print, so I'm not too worried about placement. I may need to pick out something else because I wanted to do pockets inside and out. So let's see how much fabric I've got. I've chopped this up ready for the pocket. When did you realise this was going to be the wrong size pattern? I was here with the ruler and the rotary cutter ready to go, and I'm pretty glad that I did stop, but I was so excited to use something that I've had and admired for such a long time, and I was really excited about actually having it somewhere that I could see it all the time. But I guess I'm going to have to work on another project for that. So come back for part 2 where we're going to finish the project.